to the American citizens we serve. When I took the oath of office, I swore to protect our country, and that is what I will always do.
Have you ever thought that right in the heart of a bustling American airport where millions of people place absolute trust there, lurks a deadly network that could claim the lives of 7 million people? At 4:58 in the morning in Houston, the FBI raided the security area, handcuffing the very head of the department, the right-hand man of the CJNG cartel, the one who opened the gates, disabled the cameras, turning the airport into a gateway to hell for thousands of fentanyl shipments. This is not ordinary corruption, but a systematic infiltration aimed straight at America's younger generation. Are you ready to see the dark truth? Watch now. For the American citizens we serve. When I took the oath of office, I swore to protect our country, and that is what I will always do. God help me. Thank you, and good night. At 4:58 in the morning at George Bush Intercontinental Airport, Houston, Texas, FBI agents breached the security operations area and handcuffed the airport security department chief, accusing him of covertly aiding the CJNG cartel's banned substance smuggling network into the United States. Cameras disabled, gates opened, thousands of hazardous shipments cleared under his oversight. And the agents warn this is not ordinary corruption. This is a foreign power infiltrating an American airport. And what they uncovered next could shake every airport in America. We have 8 people accused of smuggling banned substances into the state through the airport. That is enough to potentially endanger 7 million people. Police arrest 1 suspect at the airport. At 4:58 in the morning, in a swift coordinated operation, FBI and DEA agents stormed the security operations area, fast controlled and without warning. Inside, 41-year-old Carlos El Rojo Mendes, the airport security department chief, was wrapping up a pre-shift briefing when a battering ram smashed through the door. Agents rushed the room. Mendes froze. In seconds, 12 other security staff were detained, each accused of taking bribes to look the other way as packages crossed the border disguised as legitimate cargo. To the observer, it looked like a routine federal arrest, but investigators say this is something far darker. According to the sealed affidavit, Mendes was not just a corrupt official. He was the right-hand man of the CJNG cartel, operating from inside one of America's busiest airports. His job was simple: open the gates, disable the cameras, and ensure the cargo kept flowing north. By dawn, the airport was still running, but the sense of safety had been quietly shattered. Sinaloa and CJNG are no longer street gangs. They're multinational corporations with supply chains, accountants, chemists, logistics, and armed forces like private police. The product isn't just contraband, it's industrial poisoning. Center of the empire, Chicago. Big loads from rail highways, airports broken down and fanned out to Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, the entire East Coast. The cargo is fentanyl, 2 milligrams, enough to stop a heart. Devastating toll: more than 100,000 deaths per year, 70% from fentanyl. Morgues in Ohio are out of space. Mendes targeted airport employees drowning in debt, with family troubles, or just hungry for quick cash. At first, he slipped them a few $1,000s to ignore suspicious shipments. By 2024, payoffs climbed to $6,000, $15,000 per person per load. Under Mendes' direction, CJNG cargo slipped through the airport disguised as refrigerated mechanical parts, agricultural samples, or long-term medical storage equipment. Inside the containers, banned substances routed from Guadalajara, Monterrey, El Paso, Houston, then broken down for Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Results: overdose deaths in teens under 20 rose 24% from 2023 to 2025. Experts confirm it was driven directly by the CJNG pipeline at the airport. For years, Mendes walked the terminals like a respected security officer. But every shift, every gate he passed quietly, invisibly, and lethally pushed cartel cargo deeper into American communities. The moment Carlos Mendes was taken into custody, federal command centers across Texas lit up. What began as an airport raid has now become a full-scale operation. Investigators already knew Mendes was part of something bigger. What they didn't know was how fast the network would collapse once his system went dark. The intelligence picture took months to assemble, and the logistics analysis ran quietly, relentlessly at DEA headquarters. Piece by piece, the truth emerged. The cartels were operating the same infrastructure in more than 20 American cities. The same warehouses, the same shell companies, the same pattern of smuggling cash, money, guns, and fentanyl pills circulating like parts in a machine. By the end of 2025, the data was no longer suspicion. It was a blueprint, and federal agents were preparing for something America had never tried before: a synchronized nationwide. When agents breached the loading bay, they didn't find machinery. They found rows of insulated containers, the same type Mendes cleared at the airport, stuffed with foil-wrapped bricks of banned substances. Upstairs in the office, investigators uncovered a handwritten distribution map showing the supply chain branching across Texas and neighboring states. But the most violent confrontation came hours later in San Antonio at a two-story safe house rented under an alias tied to one of Mendes' employees. As agents closed in, two armed men tried to flee in a black SUV. A brief firefight erupted fast, controlled within seconds. When the dust settled, agents recovered an AR-15 burner phones and a ledger listing more than 3,960 dark web shipments, all tied to buyers in Texas. Those shipments weren't random. They were part of a fully automated supply chain run through encrypted marketplaces. Buyers paid in crypto, dropped delivery coordinates, and received product disguised in electronics, pet supplies, even children's toys. An investigator described it as a ghost market feeding thousands hiding in plain sight. By noon, the crackdown intensified. In Shreveport, agents raided a duplex rented as a packaging hub where terrified teens, some only 16 years old, were forced to bundle banned substances under threats from CJNG enforcers in Tulsa. One stash house yielded ghost guns, tactical body armor, and surveillance photos of regional airports. Every raid revealed the same architecture: a dark web marketplace distribution chain and the unmistakable CJNG discipline signature. For the first time, investigators grasped the scale. Mendes was not a lone infiltrator. Mendes was the Texas foundation of a multi-state drug machine quietly pumping poison into American communities. Operation Silent Gate has only peeled back the first layer. Want agents to hit the CJNG network even harder? Type Y or N in the comments. Phase 2 begins where investigators thought they'd seen the worst. But the truth hides deep in the digital underbelly, operating silently under Texas for nearly 2 years. Turning point: a crumpled thermal receipt in the San Antonio safe house holding a 32-character string, the key to unlocking a massive encrypted black market marketplace. If you were an airport employee offered $6,000 to look the other way on a medical equipment container from Mexico, what would you do? Take the money, report it immediately, or pretend you didn't see it. Comment your choice. The underground financial network exposed how crime undermines American justice from within. The money trail was surgical in its precision. Cash from Chicago, Houston, routed through Miami shell companies disguised as consulting fees. Freight invoices, janitorial contracts, then funneled into offshore crypto exchanges, laundered clean through digital anonymity. Clean capital re-entered America as legit. Except the products were banned substance patches, rainbow-colored fake pills, high-purity cocaine, and starter packs for first-time teen buyers. The chilling part wasn't the design, but the scale. The marketplace's transaction cap database showed 3,960 successful deliveries from 2023 to 2025 across Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and New Mexico. Every order had an encrypted buyer ID, crypto timestamp, and confirmation photos. Packages arrived via standard carriers, USPS, UPS, FedEx disguised in everyday items, small speakers, vitamins, power banks, even children's coloring kits. Following urgent directives to safeguard the border, the Department of Homeland Security recruited thousands of new agents in under 1 year. Background checks were expedited. Provisional clearances became the norm. Local departments swamped by drug violence accepted federal funding with minimal oversight. More personnel, more money, more pressure, less accountability. Since 2024, the data has revealed a terrifying trajectory. Dozens of officers from county... When agents breached the house, they found 2 servers stacked behind a false wall panel, both running military-grade encryption. The seizure triggered a full system lockdown. An FBI mobile forensics lab arrived within an hour. Windows were covered with reflective sheeting. Local police were escorted out. Only federal cyber analysts were allowed near the servers. Investigators uncovered a folder with customer lists sorted by age. Many entries flagged HS discreet child-safe packaging and kid-proof disguise kits. Financial logs showed crypto flows to wallets in Guadalajara, Tijuana, and Mexicali. A hidden folder labeled Roots U.S. Expansion Q4 listed target states for the next distribution phase: Nevada, Colorado, Georgia. Even more alarming were the personal notes. In a partitioned drive section, agents discovered maps of abandoned motels, rural houses, and short-term rental sites marked as safe houses for incoming CJNG operatives. Some had been active within the past 60 days. Every file reinforced the same conclusion. Mendes' role at the airport was just the beginning. The dark web network was the engine, a silent machine, feeding thousands of users, especially the young, without ever showing its face. By nightfall, the servers were sealed in red-tagged national security evidence bins reserved for the most sensitive intelligence. And for the first time, federal agents privately admitted what they had begun to suspect. The CJNG network in Texas didn't collapse. It had only been exposed. If this shocks you, comment "Stop the network" so more people see what the agents uncovered. As federal agents sealed the servers and slapped on red national security tags, the message was clear. This was no longer just about one corrupt airport official or a few thousand shipments. It had escalated into national security territory, reaching far beyond Texas, beyond the Southwest, and far beyond anything investigators had imagined when they breached the security operations area at 4:58 in the morning. Operation Surge is not just a coordinated law enforcement action. It is a reminder that when the safety of the American people is threatened, this nation does not hesitate. It does not retreat. It does not yield to fear. For decades, the cartels believed they could operate in the shadows, poisoning communities, corrupting institutions, turning neighborhoods into battlegrounds, and treating American lives as expendable. They built networks of money violence, deception, and power. And for a time, the world believed they could not be stopped. Open the gates, disable the cameras, and ensure the cargo kept flowing north. Meanwhile, forensics teams kept decrypting Mendes' hard drives. A file buried deep in a partition held a 27-page memo detailing an expansion model planning to push banned substance distribution farther east into Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia by mid-2026. Another folder contains surveillance photos of terminals from Denver, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, showing Mendes may have been part of a multi-state infiltration strategy, not the starting point. Federal officials knew releasing details would spark panic. Instead, everything was funneled into classified, secure reports. Even some members of Congress were denied access. Outside the intelligence rooms, human loss continued to shape the story. Overdose deaths among Americans under 20 rose 24% from 2023 to 2025. Operation Silent Gate struck hard but didn't finish the job. After months tracing encrypted messages, shipments, and corrupt officials, the truth is clear: the cartel didn't collapse, it was only exposed. The next phase is waiting to activate on burner phones, airport lounges, and hidden servers. The biggest truth: America's vulnerability isn't at the border, but inside its own systems. CJNG exploits them with precision, patience, silence. The case is a reminder: the places we trust most, like airports, can harbor corruption threatening millions in the shadows. But it also reminds us of something far more powerful. When federal agencies move as one, FBI, DEA, DHS, Homeland Security Investigations, America fights back. And they don't fight halfway. They fight to protect every family, every community, every child threatened by banned substances, and the violence that follows. Operation Silent Gate exposed an infiltration deeper than anyone imagined. But it also revealed the courage of agents who walked into those rooms, breached those doors, and dragged a national security threat out of the shadows. Their work didn't just stop a pipeline, it saved lives that will never make headlines. From the depths of the Houston airport case, the biggest lesson for us is this: national security isn't just at the borders or in weapons, but in the tiniest cracks of our everyday systems. A single airport employee, a routine shipment, a teenager with a smartphone. CJNG has proven that quiet corruption can turn the safest places into killing grounds. Stay vigilant about what we blindly trust, double-check everything, and always ask questions. Protecting our communities isn't just the FBI's job, it starts with each of us. Recognize, report, and never let the darkness slip through. Operation Silent Gate has exposed an underground empire right in the heart of America. From Houston Airport to the dark web, from 16-year-olds forced to pack to 7 million lives hanging by a thread. But the network isn't dead. It's just lurking, waiting to rise again. Do you think America is strong enough to rip it out by the roots, or will CJNG come back at the airport closest to you? Comment below right now. Why? Hit harder or end. It's already too late. Every comment is a push to make the truth spread. Don't stay silent. Protect the future now.